Service will start in a few moments. Please end your jury and help arrange the chairs for the service. We appreciate you all for being here today, and also for those connected with us through our online channel. Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Morning. Good morning.
On behalf of Reverend Nagasi and all the members, we welcome everyone to our Miroku Association USA August Ancestor Service. Today we are gathered to pray for the welfare of all of our ancestors. As we all know, our ancestors are the roots which sustain our families in this physical world. The spiritual level of our ancestors directly affects us. As Meishu-sama said, good and bad fortune are in no way accidental, but are inevitably determined by the degree of purification in the spiritual world. Meishu-sama continues, there is still another determining factor, whether survivors hold memorial services earnestly and with love for the spirit of the departed. Moreover, the intensity with which survivors and descendants help others work for the welfare of society and the nation, and accumulate virtue accelerates the purification of our ancestors. This means that filial piety is not limited to this life. On the contrary, the prayers offered and good deeds performed after the death of one's parents can be even more important than the care shown during their life. With this in mind, this service has a significant role in our lives and the spiritual level of our ancestors. Let us take this time to express our gratitude to God and Meishu-sama for all the blessings bestowed upon us and our ancestors. May our ancestors receive your light and be raised to a higher level of bliss. Please pray along silently as we have the opening prayer to God.
Great God of light, creator and giver of all life, to whom the sacred divine scroll and altar have been dedicated. With hearts filled with gratitude, we have gathered here before you to celebrate our Miroku Association USA August 2022 Ancestor Service. On this very special day, we would like to offer our prayers of praise and gratitude for the protection, help, and countless blessings we have received. May we deepen our understanding of the importance of the mission of this church and our individual missions for the salvation of humanity and our ancestors to the practice of Jorei, nature farming, and the appreciation of beauty. Today, we acknowledge and offer a special prayer for our ancestors, family, and loved ones who have passed to the spiritual realm, and for those enshrined at the sacred grounds. We pray also for all the souls who have spiritual affinity with Demiroku Association USA and all the victims of war, conflict, terror, and natural disasters. We ask that you grant them eternal salvation and allow them to become effective instruments to realize your divine plan for the paradise on earth, and thereby attaining peace and everlasting happiness. Great God of light, please accept our prayers of gratitude and monetary appreciation offerings. Strengthen and guide us in our service to you and to humanity.
Please rise and join us in the Amatsu Rito, the prayer of heaven, followed by the prayer for ancestors.
It's miracle prayer. Oh, or not. It's ancestors. Oh, it's ancestors. Yeah. Taka'ama hara ni kamzumarimasu. Kamurogi kamuromi no mikoto mochite sumemi oya kamui sanaki no mikoto tsugushi no himuka no kachi hana no odono apaki hara ni misoki hara itamo toki ni narimaseru Arai dono kami tachi moro moro no magagoto sumi kegareo Arai tamae kiyome kamae tomo sukoto no yoshio Amatsu kami punitsu kami aoi yorosu no kami tachi tomoni Ame no fuji koma no mimi furitatete kikoshime seto kashikomi momosu. Miroku o mikami mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Miroku o mikami mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Oshie oya nushi no kami mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Oshie oya nushi no kami mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Kannagara tamachi haemase. Kannagara tamachi haemase. Great God of light, bless and protect the souls of our loved ones whose journey here on earth is over. And as they continue on, great God, encircled in your light, may they be raised to ever finer and higher states of true eternal bliss. Great God of light, bless and protect us all. Radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great plan.
Please be seated. We'll now receive Jorei, the divine light. Thank you, God. We'll now hear Meishu Sama's teaching entitled The Art of God. As inhabitants of this modern world, we must have a clear perception of what kind of age we're living in. I'm going to write about the fact that we are living in a world in which, through the inventions of radio and television, we can know everything that is happening on this planet almost in an instant. Really, material civilization has advanced with amazing speed. What does this mean? The answer is most important. For if a person does not perceive it, one is not qualified to talk about modern civilization. I believe that the term world nation and world government, which have been advocated by many individuals in the United States of America for several years, indicate nothing other than the ideal world which is being born. When that happens, a president of the entire planet must be elected, and any country will be qualified to offer a candidate from amongst its people. In order for this new world to come into full existence, a great transformation must take place in every field of civilization. The crux of the change, I believe, must be a revolution of human thought in which all isms will be eliminated and unification of minds will be accomplished. To make this easy to understand, let us imagine that a great painter has started to create a masterpiece titled World. The picture being worked on will ultimately show the total perfection, the consummate skill of the artist who is expressing the highest beauty using an infinite variety of lines and colors. Imagine the length of time required to just make all the necessary preparations for this great painting of the world. When these are completed, the first step, the most important, is taken: the drawing of the lines marking the boundaries between countries. Once these have been made, the colors are applied. Many pigments are needed to designate the Earth's different races and nations. Please remember as you read that I am writing this to make a point. Now all the skillfully drawn lines and all the colors have been applied. The masterpiece is completed. This is nothing other than the great art of God at work. Our country, which is symbolized by the individual color He has given it, fulfills its particular role up to the present. Many people of each country have considered their own color superior to all others in the world, have tried to paint the entire planet in one color. No wonder they could not succeed. Of course, they have even ignored the time element. The defeats of Japan and Germany in World War II bear eloquent witness to this truth. In this sense, any particular ism or thought is like one single color which is made to fit specific individual purposes. It is not only impossible for anyone to successfully use this one color to paint beyond the boundary lines of other areas, but any attempt to do so creates disharmony, which in turn produces friction, which can eventually develop into major conflict. This can distort God's great painting, which is based on His love for all humanity. This is why the seeming success of some people does not last for long. Consider the so-called heroes of the past, almost all of whom were defeated in the end by their own actions of interfering with the art of God. Powerful countries should learn from historical fact that instead of trying to paint other countries their own colors, they should help them to bring out more clearly the beauties of their individual colors. By adopting this kind of policy, they will be in harmony with God's will, and an ideal world will soon become a reality. We should apply this same idea to religion. Even here, each church, or sect continues to follow the old way of trying to paint others with its particular color. It is not only going against the progress of the times, but it also goes against God's plan. Let all religions realize the deep will of God, which is underlying the progress of civilization, and work together for the establishment of the coming ideal world. December 20th, 1949. We would like to invite Reverend Rodrigo Nagasi to share some thoughts with us.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for coming. Congratulations for today's service. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you, and welcome everybody who is participating from home as well. Thank you very much. Today is a very special and exciting day. It's our monthly ancestor service, the day that we put their names in the altar and we pray together. Of course, we can do that every day and we should, but this day of the month is a special day for them. It's dedicated for them, especially for all those ancestors who are in the spiritual realm, still going through a lot of training and purification to raise their spiritual level to a higher one. Thank you very much. Before I start, I would like to thank you all for your daily effort in our organization with Jure at home and at the church, and also practicing nature farming. You can, I think, all can smell the rosemary. It's beautiful. I asked, it's rosemary. And then because of the smell, I remember my great grandfather, right? Because my great grandmother used to have rosemary in their garden. Every time that I used to go there, I used to smell that, right? So, interesting way that our ancestors, they come to us and say, hey, we are here, we are together, and we can do it, right? So thank you very much. And also beautiful arrangements, right? So it's so beautiful. Yesterday I got here early. I was like, wow. And I was supposed to do a class, and I was planning to do it at my office, But after I saw that, no, no, has to be here. I need these in the back of the, the class. And thank you very much, Professor Valeria, Professor Leonard as well. Thank you very much. Talking about Ikebana, we are very happy and excited about all the activities that we are having. We had a workshop in Laguna Beach, right, this month, and also another one in Sherman Library and Gardens. Was a beautiful workshop. So many happy faces. I saw in the pictures. I wasn't there, but we could feel all the love and the gratitude and the light through the pictures. Congratulations. If you are wondering how can I participate, please contact our instructors, and especially this coming month, we'll have a very special workshop. Is it a workshop, right? Demonstration in Pacific Asian Museum in Pasadena. And Professor Leonard, he is in charge of this event. So if you are interested in visiting and participating, please contact him. And also, if you are interested in learning Ikebana, not just because it's an art to learn, and it's um, something that you can use to help you calm down and settle and understand a lot of feelings that you have as a therapy, but also maybe someone says about the spiritual uh, uh, reason to practice ikebana, right? Every time that you do that, you are connecting yourself to God, and flowers and nature has a natural power to recharge our energy. So it's kind of a communication with the flowers. It's interesting how it really helps us grow spiritually. So I strongly recommend, if you want to learn the philosophy and the art behind the flowers, please contact our instructors as well. Other very exciting activity that we are having, it's Jure Gathering. We have been, because of the pandemic, we kind of stopped doing that in members' house, but little by little we are catching up again. And for instance, in San Diego area, in San Marcos, to be more exactly, in uh, Professor Valeria in Lee's house, they are having Joy Gathering every week, every Thursday. So if you are there or you know somebody there, please, their house is open. And this week, AG contacted me saying that he decided to also open their house and Allison's house to Jury Gather as well in Torrance. So if you are in Torrance and you want to receive Jury every week, please, their house will be available as well. I hope that we have more Jury at members' house. It doesn't have to be every week, it can be once a month, once every 3 months. But it is amazing. I remember when I was young, very young, my parents, my mom used to open their house as well once in a month because every member wanted to do it in Brazil. So they had like a schedule. Every week was a different home, and then was our home was so busy, right? It was just 2 hours, but it was so busy, so many people coming in and out, receiving jewelry, and I mean, I thought at the time why people were coming because because weren't offering anything. We didn't have even water there. I mean, we had water, but nobody was interested in asking for water, right? Everybody was just going there for 15 minutes, but they were so happy. And I was just sitting playing, and everybody was like, "Cause I have this." So everybody was like, "Oh, Rodrigo, how are you?" Like 20 people. At the end of the day, I was like hurting so much. I was like, I don't like this kind of meat. But I remember everybody so happy for 15 minutes. And my mom didn't have to do much. Just say, it's open. If you want to come and receive your rate, right? So it's a great opportunity. Anyone can do it. And if you're interested, please contact me, and then we can start arranging the the preparations, right? Thank you very much. Talking about Jure gatherings, we are having Dallas, Texas, every month, 2, 3 times a month they do it. And this coming week on Tuesday and Wednesday, I will be there as well, participating in our meeting in Dallas as well. And of course, we know that this coming month, we have our annual ancestor service. It's once in a year that we do a very special service for our ancestors. May some says this is the day of the year, like anniversary or a birthday, that all the ancestors are allowed to come with us to receive light. It's a very special day for them. And we have been talking about that for weeks now. And I would like today to talk a little bit more about that. Actually, when Meishu Sama was alive, we didn't have this annual ancestor service. He used to have this monthly, right? But once in a year, he used to go to the sacred grounds to do a special prayer for all the ancestors. So that's why after Meishu Sama went to the spiritual realm, the church decided to have this day as an annual ancestor service. So this came from Meishu Sama, right? Meishu Sama in Japan, he created, he built two sacred grounds, and the third one he started, and then we continue his plan after his passing. And he had a very not just because he was in Japan, but he had a very special feeling and thought about ancestors, right? He wrote many teachings about ancestors, and in the sacred grounds, he said that our ancestors, right? God, he said, God has been preparing this site to be the sacred grounds. And all of our ancestors, they were used to lead us to this day. And we are now in this time because we have a special mission, represent all generations before us to accomplish a great mission today, right? He explains about the turning point in the spiritual realm, right? From age of darkness in the spiritual realm to age of light, daylight age. And spiritually has changed, and naturally, little by little, here has been manifesting. So he said, year by year, purifications will increase, right? So that means that the light will become stronger and nothing will be hidden anymore. That means what we were able to kind of work out will not work out anymore. We'll have to face every single situation in our lives. That's why people are so depressed sometimes or anxious because they kind of not catching up with the time. There are so many things that we want to do, but we have so many situations to resolve in order to do what we want, right? So we are not having enough time. So May Sama says, because we are becoming slower, not because we are slower, but the time is faster. So if we don't pick up the pace, we will get slower and slower and slower, right? It's like a train when it starts, speeding. You can run and jump, but when it's really, really going, it's almost impossible. You can hurt yourself if you try to catch a train at high speed, right? So we need to understand that we need to ride the train, right? And it's important for us to understand that this time of the year, our annual ancestor service is part of this process. The preparation is very important. And we are sending letters, prayer forms, and donation slips this week. I will prepare that. I'll finish preparing today. I will send to all of you so you can work on the list of your ancestors. And also, as I said last time, please check your soleilsage, the enshrinement that we have in the sacred grounds, right? It's very important to start writing every name that you know. Okay, my grandfather, grandmother, uncle, friends that passed away, people that we had admiration, everyone that we want to put in this list. It's very important to write it down, right? And sometimes, as Meisama says in one teaching, I will read the teaching, but the ancestors, they give us a kind of warning, but not negative warning, right? Not every warning is negative, right? So we need to understand that they are communicating with us, and sometimes they do things like I said, Rosemary. Oh, I remember my grandfather, right? And sometimes we smell things or we go to places and we see, wow, my mom used to come here. I love my mom, right? She's not here anymore, right? So in that time, sometimes a nostalgic feeling comes, and sometimes even a sadness uh, take over ourselves. And also, sometimes gratitude comes, and sometimes memories. So all of that process that we go through when we remember one ancestors, it is important to write their names down, right? So the teaching says, when the descendants neglect to send their love and prayers to their ancestors and loved ones through memorial services, those spirits in the spiritual realm who want to receive love and light from the descendants might feel lonely, and they might send some sign or a signal to let the descendants know their desire. When the descendants change their religious affiliation and remove the family ancestor altar because of the new faith, some of the ancestors might be upset and give some warning to make them aware of this their displeasure, right? So because of many attitudes that we have, sometimes our ancestors they give us warning or displeasure, or maybe because they need more prayers. So it's important for us to be alert and see what's going on in our lives as well. There is one teaching that Meisama says when the spiritual goes to the spiritual realm, the first thing they have to do is detach themselves from all feelings from material world and attachment to physical things for their belongings because they are dead. So they don't need anything, right? And it's interesting because Meisama says a spirit can take 30 years or more to work on those feelings, right? And I can relate to that, how many things that happened to me years ago, and I'm not over yet, right? I'm attached to that moment, especially um, when it's something not positive, like a situation with somebody that creating some sentiments toward that person or toward that situation. Every time that comes to my mind, we kind of feel right. Our blood start to uh, warm, and so oh my God, I don't want to remember that. We don't know how to deal with that. And our ancestors also they go to the spiritual realm, and then they have to go to the process of detaching themselves. Right. The name of this teaching is ego and attachment. You can check that later and read the whole teaching, please. Meisama says in this teaching. After an individual passes from the physical world into the spiritual realm, the first and greatest lesson to learn is the need to discard any inordinate attachments related for people or things left behind in the physical plane. As they continue to be released, elevation to progressively higher levels can take place. In contrast, failure to do so can result in a loss of mobility in the spiritual realm. This shows how important it is to release undue attachments, right? In our faith, we don't blame our ancestors, or we don't think that we have to carry all of their sins or vices that they had, right? That's not the point. We respect them. They have their own journey. But as we are connected to each other, right? If I really love somebody, if I really like even a friend, and I see that friend sad, there is no way that we can ignore that, correct? We feel their pain. We feel, why you're sad, right? Even if you don't know or that person doesn't want to tell us, we feel their pain. And we cannot ignore and be completely happy if somebody's not happy, especially in our home. So our ancestors as well, each one of us, we have our own mission, our own journey, but somehow we are connected to each other, right? So it's important for us to remember that, and our progress, our individual elevation can also help our ancestors. So it is a good idea for us to work in our ego and attachment right now, right? One thing that I would like to clarify about ego, first of all, some people they think ego is the same thing as personality. We need personality, character. It's good to have it. Otherwise, we'll be the person who are you? I don't know, right? We need identity. It is good to be strong in what we believe, to be self confident, to be sure what we want in life. But there is another thing. Ego is something that disturbs even ourselves. Is that rage that we have sometimes, or hard head, right? We keep going this way, it's not working, but we believe that's the way. This is ego. Meishu Sama had to release his ego in order for him to understand his mission, for instance, right? He wanted to be an artist, but he had an accident in his finger and vision. He had so many things that didn't allow him to be an artist in the way that he wanted. But he made so many beautiful calligraphies and paintings. He found the way to accomplish his mission as an artist, Ikebana, for instance, right? Calligraphies and paintings in a way that God wanted him to be. Also, he wanted to be a successful man. He failed many times, but eventually he was a very successful man in the ways that he didn't even imagine. Meisama was before his spiritual journey. He was the fourth person to have an automobile, right? A car in Japan. Fourth. Wow. He was a really rich man. And he gave away everything, right? Gave really his business to his manager. And the manager was like, how much I pay? Oh, no, I'm not interested in that anymore. You can have it, right? I don't know if I was able to do that, but he did. He's made some, right? But he had to work in many things, right? We ourselves, I don't know how many of you were born here in LA, but I was born in Sao Paulo, and I had to leave my country, leave my city, right, my family to accomplish my mission. This is kind of detachment as well, right? Many of you had to move from Hawaii, New Jersey, Philadelphia, and other countries, Argentina, right? Many other countries. We detach ourselves, and somehow, even unconsciously, we are growing. That's how important it is. The most difficult one to detach ourselves is from our um, resentments, right? From situations that happen, injustice, or things that we are sure that we are right, and we cannot detach ourselves from that situation. And that is what making us slow. That is what making us something is just not letting me go. It's all the situations that we are attached to it, right? There is one poem that Meisama says, when people cannot detach themselves from greed and unlimited material desire, they ruin themselves in spirit and body. Our ancestors, they lived as we are living right now. At some point, they left this world. I remember my father, for instance. He passed away a couple of years ago. I have many memories with them. My son has a couple of memories with him. My grandchildren might not even, they will heard from him, but not memories. The next generation might not even remember my dad. The next one will not remember my dad. So it's naturally. that generation after generation, all those who passed become just what? Us. Yeah, they are ancestors. They become us. They are part of us, but we don't remember them, right? Every time that we do something good for others, every time we accumulate virtue, even though we don't know them, they are receiving light. That's how important it is for us to make a decision to do good deeds. Even though we don't remember all the ancestors, they exist. Without them, we couldn't be here. Even though I don't remember my great great grandparents, but if they didn't exist, I wouldn't be here. So somehow I'm grateful, and I hope that they are growing in the spiritual realm as well. We live in the present, we respect the ancestors. So what we do here is very important. There is one faith experience, a short faith experience that I would like to share that I read yesterday and took my attention. It's a lady from Sao Paulo, and her name is Carla. 2 years ago, not you, another Carla. 2 years ago, I used medication for the esophagus, stomach, and spine. I was in a lot of pain and had to go to the hospital at least twice every week. These symptoms left me very weak physically and emotionally. I had panic attacks and I cried a lot, felt short of breath, and thought I was going to die at any moment. I avoided socializing with people and had no desire to eat or shower. I made an appointment with my psychiatrist who described medication for depression. With the arrival of the pandemic, the symptoms intensified due to an atmosphere of fear and insecurity that involved everyone. In April, my uncle said he had a friend who said a prayer with his hands and asked if I would like to meet. I readily accepted and we headed to his house. His friend's wife explained Joray and the church to me. By the end, I was much lighter and happier. It was a feeling I hadn't experienced in a long time. She invited me to visit the church. I was introduced to the minister in charge and started to attend the church daily, where I received the jury and gave service cleaning. As a result, discouragement, anxiety attacks, and stomach and back pain were reduced. So I was able to cut back the medications. I started the membership course and learned about the purification process and our relationship with our ancestors. I understood that the light of joy and dedications was cleansing my spirit and raising the level of my ancestors. As a result, my health condition was getting better and better. With deep gratitude to be having this opportunity, I made the decision to provide the same to people. Therefore, I was allowed to receive the Ohikari Divine Light Medal at the end of May 2020. I am currently no longer taking any medication. The pains that tormented me so much disappeared completely, and the depressive symptoms gave way to a state of gratitude and happiness. I dedicate once a week to the church. I participate in the monthly services and the jury meetings at the homes of the members of the neighborhood, and I seek to spread joy among friends and family. I thank God and Meshisama for allowing me to be a useful instrument to help people heal illnesses of the body and soul. Thank you very much. For me, it's a beautiful experience. I can just imagine how painful it is when you have anxiety, panic attack, depression, and all those. It's not modern anymore, but that's what many people, right? Many people are going through, especially after pandemic. Um, May Sama said that he created the sacred grounds, and that extends to the jury centers as well. When people really feeling weak and desperate, they should come and be here for a while. We have many experiences, people that are not even able to breathe, and I ask, come here. Even if you don't understand why, just come and stay here. And they stay here for 1 hour and they recover themselves. And that's the reason Mesama created these places, right? For us to recharge our energy. So I encourage you all to visit the church, to visit the sacred grounds. We are having a pilgrimage this coming October to the sacred grounds in Brazil. It will be a very small pilgrimage, just 15 people, and we have more than 10 now. If you are interested to come, we will leave October 25th, and we are coming back November 5th. Will be a beautiful pilgrimage. We are going to the sacred ground, staying there 5 days, right? Just giving services, staying there. It is amazing how beautiful it is and how we feel. Everyone who goes to the sacred grounds, they receive a lot of light and inspirations as well. And we are going to Rio de Janeiro as well. We're doing some sightseeing, but we are also having a visit to one of the most beautiful churches in Rio, in Barra da Tijuca. So if you're interested, please come and talk to me. It's important for us to come, as I said, when we are feeling desperate or we need help, or even if we need some guidance to where to go right now. It is important to come. This person, for instance, because she was going through that much, she decided to come every day, right? It's like when we need to do the effort also to receive more light. After she passed the crisis, she decided to come once a week. So we are not saying that, okay, so going to the church is the only way. No, no. We believe in the spiritual realm, material realm, both together are important, right? I never encourage someone to hide their problems behind their faith. It is both together. We need to face our difficulties, making decisions. But if we don't have this spiritual instructor, it is almost impossible to find a way, right? We will find it, but might take years, might take dozens of years, right? So if you want fast, we need to create this balance in our lives, okay? So remember, today I will send the letters to our annual ancestor service with the prayer forms. Start working on that. We have 2 weeks. Next week, we have our national headquarters annual ancestor service. I will be there representing all of you. And the following week, we'll have our service here. Okay? So to conclude this service, I just want to share this part of this teaching. A major goal of religion is to help us rid ourselves of our overindulgent egos and extreme attachments. Ever since I learned this truth and began putting it into practice, I have freed myself from a great deal of mental suffering. And in every area of life, I have experienced good results. Do not worry about either the past or the future, is wise, a very good advice. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Misha-sama said, every individual should be striving daily to attain an ever higher state of spiritual consciousness, especially those of you who have faith in God. Let us pray for our ancestors on a daily basis in the hopes of doing the same for them. This concludes our service. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. And Monica needs her.
I know.
She's Oh, no, it's straight. Yes. Good. Yes, I'll be